So, how in the world did you attract an enemy? And can it be true? Is there really someone that doesn't like you? Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, and I am so excited and delighted that you're here with me because today we need to understand the empath's greatest enemy. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you understand that I am using new software. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to chat with me. Audrey, I know that you said you were going to be here. If you can chat, can you just put something in the chat for me? If not, guys, don't worry about it. I'm going to figure out this software a little better and figure out how we can do this with ease. As always, I invite you to go to my website. It's mmhearthealer.com and download my new ebook, 11 ways to receive angelic assistance. It's actually 11 ways we resist angelic assistance, and of course, how we can do so. So, I'm excited that you're here. Let me just turn that off for you. And here's what we're going to do today. We're going to find out who is your enemy, what you can do to change that, and who can help. As always, when we discover something that we are struggling with in our physical form, there is an energetic helper that will help ease your way, help make it possible for you to have an experience that really feels good. Because remember, the divine are only love, and they want every experience that you have to be beneficial. But you have to open up to receiving that. So let's get started with understanding how you could have attracted an enemy. And let's look at first who this greatest enemy could be. First of all, they're not someone that you had a disagreement with or, had an argument or didn't do something that you said that you were going to do. It's not even someone that you disappointed. It's not a past relationship. It's not even someone who you beat in a competition. These are all people that might be uncomfortable, but they're not your greatest enemy. All of these people are in your life occasionally. They come and go, even if it's a spouse or a relationship. That person that is your enemy is with you constantly. So let me give you a little insight as to who this enemy might be so you can decide whether you want this person with you the way that they're acting right now, or if you feel that it's really important that you make a change. So, the first thing, of course, is that they're with you constantly and they are hypercritical of you. I mean, you look at something wrong, and gosh, they are so quick to remind you of how you could have done that better. They often devalue you and they make life really difficult. They have a hard time believing in you, and they will often put others before you, even when your needs are so much greater than the other person. This enemy likes to put others before you. They always try to tell you to do more than is good for you, more than you really possibly can. And they might do it by saying things like, well, you could do better or be better, or if it were me, I would be doing X and Y and Z. They remind you that what you're doing just isn't good enough. And they take you for granted while seeing other people as much more worthy. Pretty tough to be with that person, especially when you're with them 24 hours a day. So, Have you guessed who your enemy is? Have you guessed who your most difficult relationship with? And Sirius, I love that answer. Sirius says the narcissist, which is also one of the empath's greatest difficult relationships. But the enemy that I want to introduce you today is yourself. You are your own biggest enemy. And I want you to take it from the queen of self condemnation. Before I really understood the angels and the love that they have for us and the creator as a loving being, I did not let 1 minute of my life go by when I didn't have something critical to say to myself and about myself. And then I wondered why it was so difficult for me to continue moving forward. So, if you are struggling, as I used to struggle, with that big enemy that you got to carry around with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then I am so grateful that you are here because, as always, the angelic energetic realm gives us strategies instead of just a list of don't do's. They give us ways out. They give us help. They give us support. They give us a way to move forward in a way that will feel good to our heart. Evan says, as we were speaking of are we speaking of the narcissist or of ourselves? We are speaking about ourselves. The narcissist is the most complicated relationship and the most likely relationship for an unhealed, uneducated empath. But the enemy is ourself. The narcissist is not your enemy. The narcissist is another confused being that is attracted to the light within an empath. Once you clear and heal your heart, once you change your vibrational offering, the narcissist is no longer going to be interested in being in a relationship with you because you're at a different vibrational level, one which they're not going to be able to meet. And so you're just going to be two ships passing in the night. The one that you have to have with you constantly is yourself. So let's take a look at what, without self love, without that acknowledging all that you are, what are you capable of doing to yourself? How are you going to affect your life? Because if you don't understand what you are doing, Evan says it's a challenge to get oneself to acknowledge that we're in our own way. Yes, 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 yes. This is why we're going to look at what you are doing to yourself. I don't think that we spend enough time acknowledging the power that we have over ourselves. We are so busy looking around and looking out and looking at other possibilities that we forget that everything begins and ends with us. So let's take a look at what is going to be happening in your life when you are not self loving, when you are, and I'll say for myself, I was very self hating. I didn't stop at self loving, I went all the way to self hating. So, what's going to happen to you? Well, you're going to disrespect yourself and your boundaries. You're going to belittle all of your efforts. See yourself as less than, no matter how much you do. You can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you will still find a way to tell yourself it's not good enough. So, you're going to push yourself too hard, or you're not going to push yourself at all. You are going to attract relationships that demean and hurt you, possibly to the point of abuse. And yet, you will tell yourself you deserved it, you could do better, you should have expected that. or this is as good as it's going to be. These are the kinds of conversations that you have with yourself when you are not self loving. When you have no self love, you are cruel to yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can't wait to engage in self sabotage. But we must understand that self love isn't selfish. This is another point of confusion that I find so often that the empathic community holds close to their heart. Selfish is you without being self loving. And this comes straight from Mother God. Selfish is you trying to do it on your own. It's trying to overextend, to hold yourself to an impossible standard, and then ignore your own well being for others. But without self love, you're going to burn out and you ultimately let others down. Those other people that you were so busy trying to hold up. Well, when you fall apart, when you fall down, which is inevitable without self love because you're going to burn yourself out, you are then causing all of those people that you have made dependent on you lost in space. Now they have no one they can go to because you were doing everything for them. So that love that you are trying to give to other people to feel better about yourself is not a kindness for them or for you. And Evan says, I would think if I can't stand in front of a mirror and say to my wonderful self, hey, you, I love you and you are awesome, that might be a big clue. Wow. Yes. Thank you, Evan. Take a look at yourself, not at the exterior. Really look at the heart that you are carting around with you every day. And if you see a heart that is overflowing with love for others, and you don't find that the most beautiful thing in the world, then please call me. I need to set you straight. You, with these beautiful hearts, you who are willing to give, you who are kind, you who will go out of your way for others, need to understand how magnificent and beautiful you truly are. So let's look at what a self loving person really is. What are you going to be able to do if you step away from the self hatred and into the place where you are self loving? Well, the self loving person recognizes healthy work and life habits. So you're not crazy in one direction or crazy in the other. This doesn't mean that you can't go on a vacation because you got to always stay in balance, or that you cannot work really hard for a period of time if you are wanting to reach a goal. It is the idea that you are honoring yourself and giving to yourself those things that will uplift you, make you feel better about yourself, make you feel whole and happy. And because you are doing this, you are then able to give even more, to be even more amazing than you already are. The self loving person takes appropriate steps. This is something that you can't get away with. This is something that you've got to recognize. Hey, this is my obligation to myself. This means plenty of good food. If you want to believe that you can exist on snacks and fast food, the angels and I have got to tell you, you are lowering your vibration. Eat healthy food. Eat that fresh vegetable, that fresh fruit from the ground, off the tree. Eat good quality food. Eat whatever protein speaks to you. You don't need a specific diet. You need a diet that's high in quality. That means that you're getting good nutrients. Drink plenty of water. Be sure to rest and to exercise. You can't just sit like a blob on a log and expect that this body that is all filled with muscles is going to be able to hold you up and do it well. Every single part of your body needs those muscles to be active in order for you to be in good health. So make sure that exercise is part of your life. Now, again, this doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and work out for 3 hours. It means you do what you can from where you are. So you begin with what you can do, and as you get healthier, you may want to increase it. But make sure that you are honoring yourself with exercise and plenty of rest and meditation, or at least some quiet time alone with the divine. Now, this self loving person is also going to be perfectly able to offer to help without feeling obligated. The untrained empath feels that it is their job to help every single person every single time, no matter what else they've got going on. And that equates to burnout. That means you're exhausted and you're not able to be there for you. So, when you are truly self loving, when you really understand who you are as this beautiful empathic being, you will be able to say, I will help you as I am able, instead of, yes, yes, of course I'll help you. Always put a pause. If I call you up tomorrow, hey, can you help me move? Pause for a moment. I don't need an immediate answer. Pause for a moment, check in with your heart, see how that feels. If you really think that would be fun and you don't have anything else going on, accept. If you feel that that would be burdensome, or that you'd have to juggle your day in order to get that done, then you can say, I would love to, but I'm just not going to be able to help you this time. Maybe next time. It's okay to say no, but you can say no kindly. The self-loving empath keeps pouring from a cup that is overflowing. That self-loving empath doesn't pour themselves out onto everyone everywhere and forget about themselves. The self-loving empath, the one who is able to hold that high vibration for the longest period possible, allows themselves to take time out to refill. And then once they are overflowing, they flow out from that overflowing cup of abundance. So how do you refill? You connect with the divine through your heart center, and you make sure that you have cleared the heart of all pain and trauma, or at least the amount of pain and trauma that you can do at this moment. If you are all filled with all of the bad things that have happened to you throughout your life, and then you try to connect with the divine and fill up, what's going to happen? Well, you might be able to get a little trickle. Maybe there's this much room for you to really commune with the divine. But more than likely, that beautiful unconditional love is just going to kind of wash over you, and it won't really penetrate your being because there isn't any room for it. And then you're going to go out and try to be loving and kind to someone else, and you'll be doing it from your humanness, your limited space. So clear away this pain and trauma. Then open your heart to the divine. Allow yourself to be filled. Allow yourself to be uplifted and to begin living in a state of joy. And then from that joyful place, go out and help everyone that you are guided to. You don't have to help everyone. You only need to help those whom you are guided to. And the reason that you do it that way and not, gosh, I got to fix everybody right now, is because not everyone is ready. Not everyone can learn from you. And there are many of us who want to help. So it's not necessary to wear yourself out. It's only good to do what you can as long as your heart is feeling great. So no more emptying yourself out and putting yourself in a position where you are uncomfortable. So let's look now at all of the things that you can do successfully without hurting yourself. Well, the first thing that you have to do, and this is like there's no wiggle room in this one. First thing that you're going to have to do is forgive yourself. I don't care about anybody else, just you. Forgive you. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I am so sorry for all of the times that I didn't honor you, for the times that I criticized you, didn't believe in you, didn't value you, actively cut you down and made your life difficult. The one person in your life that deserves an apology is you. So begin there. Radical forgiveness. I don't care how many mistakes you made. They don't matter. What matters is that you forgive yourself. And from that place of, oh, wow, you move forward. If you try to move forward with all that baggage hanging on, that hypercritical voice is going to follow you. Oh, look what you're doing now. Another mistake. I knew it. You always make a mistake. You cannot be successful until you forgive yourself and let go of the need to be critical. So it doesn't matter what choice you made in the past. We're not going to put our head in the sand. We're not going to pretend bad things didn't happen. I want you to recognize the choice, own it, realize it was a mistake, and forgive yourself anyway. Hey, look at this really stupid thing I did, or really bad thing I did, or whatever it was. Okay, I got to own that. I've got to just be right there with it. Okay, take a breath, feel your way through it. Yeah, I did that. It wasn't my best choice. It didn't bring me what I was hoping for. But no matter what, I'm going to forgive myself because the only way forward is through forgiveness. Forgive yourself because if you knew better, you would have done better. I guarantee you that looking back with all this knowledge that you've acquired since that time, you will want to say to yourself, well, you should have known better. You know what? You didn't. Move on. If you don't move on, you're going to keep making the same mistake because you'll be caught up in the blame loop, and that blame punishment keeps you stuck. I was stuck for almost 20 years. That's a really long time to be stuck in the spiral of, you're so stupid. Look at what you did. Look at the mistake you made. And it didn't matter how many people I helped, how much I was successful in other areas of my life. I still wanted to harp on mistakes from yesterday and blame myself, and then not be surprised when I made more mistakes today. You must own it and move past it with forgiveness. Evan, absolutely release the energetic ties, baggage. Think of it as a weight. It's energetic weight. Release all of it. Cut those ties. Allow yourself to be free. Once you've forgiven yourself, then I want you to acknowledge what you do well. And don't tell me you don't do anything well. That's just not true. If you need me to point out some things that you do, I will be happy to do that. I'm really good at finding things that people do well. So, you're going to acknowledge what you do well while you instead of reinforcing what's wrong. Because if you don't acknowledge what you do well and what you're doing well in this moment, you're going to run back to that hypercriticism. You're going to be engaging in negative self talk, and you're going to be nitpicking every aspect of your behavior. So, get used to catching yourself doing something right and then commenting about it. And I don't mean that you just say, "Oh, isn't it great that I got out of bed this morning?" Unless you're severely depressed. And then, yes, pat yourself on the back. Wow, you are amazing for getting out of bed. I want you to just be really aware of everything that you're doing in your life and find reasons to be glad for it. Find reasons why it's good. Point out all of the ways in which you are doing well. You've got to slay that hypercritical aspect of yourself by refusing to give it any oxygen. If you want to move on, you've got to let go of what's wrong, because stuck equals focusing on what's wrong. If you find yourself stuck, you only have to ask yourself one question. Okay, what am I focused on? What am I thinking about? What self talk am I engaging in? And don't lie, because I know you'll want to say, I wouldn't do that. Just follow the breadcrumbs. It's going to go right back to you. And I guarantee you, if you're feeling stuck, you're saying to yourself things like, gosh, I'm really doing a lousy job. What's wrong with me? I don't understand why I can't accomplish my goals. Whoa, who can accomplish goals from that place and with that attitude? Instead, if you're stuck, you say, okay, I'm feeling a little stuck. All right. What can I find that's good about this situation? Let's say you've been stuck for 2 weeks. You haven't done anything productive in 2 weeks. Then you could say to yourself, well, I feel much more rested. I must have needed that time out. Now feel the energy of that. I'm going to do it again. And I want you to feel the energy of the two ways of speaking to yourself. So I'm stuck. I've been stagnant, no productivity in 2 weeks. Hypercritical me. You're such a failure. What a loser. I can't believe you haven't accomplished anything in 2 weeks. Oh, I knew it. You're just going to fail again. Okay. I might have failed in the past. I might not have done anything productive in 2 weeks. I might really not be feeling like the winner of all times. However, if I'm going to get out of this, I can look at this and say, I'm feeling really stuck. I haven't been able to do anything that feels productive in 2 weeks. Gosh, well, what did I accomplish? Really didn't accomplish a whole lot, but you know what? Well, I feel a little more rested. Actually, I feel a lot more rested. Wow, I must have really been pushing myself. I feel really rested. So I think I can set a new goal, make it a small goal. I think I can set a new goal and really quickly accomplish it because I'm feeling so much more rested. You are not to, if you are stuck, immediately set a goal that requires you to climb Mount Everest. Set a small goal that is easily accomplished. And after you accomplish that goal, you say to yourself, wow, that's amazing. Okay, we might have been stuck for 2 weeks, but look at this. We did it. We accomplished what we set out to do. Oh, it's great. I'm on a roll. I can really feel the way that I'm moving forward now. This is incredible. See how much easier it is to go from that momentum to more and more and more, as opposed to going from that deep, dark dungeon where you had placed yourself and trying to get to level ground. And Evan says, even making the smallest step in a forward direction is movement. So important to remember. None of us can go from a dead stop to a flat out run. It takes a few minutes to, no matter how great a runner you are, it takes a few minutes to get your body going. So he says the small things add up, and then you've moved more than you realize. Excellent point. Thank you, Evan. It's a really excellent point. If you were to take the giant leap that you probably are not going to be able to do, and you compare it to all of the little small leaps that you know you are going to be able to do, I tell you that at the end of the day, you might not have been able to take the giant leap, but you will be further with small steps than you ever would have been with that giant leap. And you will not have sprained your body in the process. And Evan's right. It feels good. It feels really good to honor yourself. So, also, I want you to acknowledge your limits. You do not need to be super people, pretending that you don't need a break, pretending that you can do more than others or that you are supposed to do more than others. Allow yourself some time to refresh. You're not going to be able to make the difference in the world that you want to make if this is really in trouble. So you don't set a timer, you feel your way forward, and you honor all that you are. No more, oh, that wasn't good enough. Wow, look at me. I took that small step. Oh, that feels good. Spend time with the divine. You are empathic beings. You have one of the most pure channels to the divine on this planet. Make use of it. Spend some quiet time with the divine. Time out from everything when you are time out from everything and time spent in awe, time spent really looking at a flower and recognizing how beautifully every detail has been honored. Quiet time, which would include either meditation, prayer, or contemplation, or a combination of all three. But it's whatever is going to give you that time to reset and really realize who you are, how powerful you are, and how precious that connection you have is with the divine. And Evan says again, please remind us that if we have limits, it doesn't mean that it is a failure. Oh, hit that one on the nail. Yes, hit that nail on the head. Sorry. It shows us how much we will advance, and celebrating helps us as well. Yes, let's dig into that a little bit more. So, I think one of the hardest things as an empath is to have to recognize that you are inhabiting a human body. You are within a physical body, and that physical body is not robotic, and it does require care. Your heart says, I want to keep going and I want to keep giving and I wanna. And when you don't get to do that, there is a part of you that feels deep regret. However, that is you not honoring who you are and who you came to be as an empath and what your purpose is as an empathic being. An empathic being is not here to save every person in the world. You are to connect with the divine, align with that divine source, fill up with that divine source, and flow that out into the world. You don't get to choose who receives it and who rejects it. You don't get to receive who it goes to. It's going to go to everyone. You are not to physically help every person. None of us are capable of doing that. Your greatest job is to be and hold the container of unconditional love and allow that to flow through you. First, you have to fill up, or there won't be anything to flow. Allow that to fill you and then flow through you continuously. That is your greatest role. If you do that every day, even if you're not aware, even if you say to yourself, okay, Mother, Father, God, I accept. I accept. I accept this role. I am now in partnership with you. Please use me as a conduit of your unconditional love and allow that love to fill me up and then flow out into the world. Whether I am aware of this happening or not, you don't have to be conscious. You have to give conscious consent. And then you have to make sure that you are open to receiving their love and not filled up with a whole bunch of crazy, silly stuff that you've told yourself that is not kind, that will block that channel from being active and from you doing your work in the world. Yes, there will be people that you need to help directly, and the divine will guide you to those people. But even when you are not with someone, you can be accomplishing something. Even when you are in that rest period, you are still accomplishing because you, as an empathic being, are a powerful beacon of love. And you can agree to flow that out into the world continuously. That's your purpose. That's your main purpose. Then each of you will have a niche purpose below that, something that you have come to share that you do exceedingly well. But your overall general purpose as an empath is to share your love and acceptance. Show the world how it's done, but not through your humanness, through your divine connection. So, no more, I don't have anything I can do. I just showed you all what you can do, and there are no exceptions. But you got to spend that time with the divine. If you are not allowing yourself to be connected, you're not going to be the full beacon of love that you could be. So, the final step to this, the self-loving, beautiful being that you are, is to hold gratitude for yourself. Be so grateful that you chose to come as an empathic being in this lifetime, because in my opinion, there are no finer beings on this planet than those who have chosen to carry the light of unconditional love into the world. You are an exceptional being. Be so grateful that you have reached this point in your soul growth that you can be this container of love and that you have chosen this assignment. Be proud of yourself, no matter your choices. Honor your beingness and acknowledge your greatness. Now, acknowledging your greatness doesn't mean, look at me, I'm so fabulous. It means quietly acknowledging, I am so grateful for me. I love and accept myself. Nobody else needs to hear that or know that. This is between you and you. I want you to start a love affair with yourself. No one else can do that for you. You must be your own cheerleader. Be your own best friend. Be the reason you smile. If you're constantly looking outside yourself for someone else to do it for you, you're placing a tremendous burden on them, and you are not honoring yourself fully. And my Audrey. Yes, you are, Audrey. You're one of the most fabulous empathic beings I have yet to meet. And I know each one of you, I say that to all of you, but it is so true. If you could see you the way that I see you, if you could see the love that flows through you and from you, and the way in which you are making a difference in the world, you would stop all that critical self talk right now. So, no one else can do it for you. So you've got to recognize and acknowledge your accomplishments. Bragging is trying to impress someone else. I'm not talking about bragging. We're not going to stand in the middle of the street and look at me, I'm so great. This is between you and you. This is you recognizing your worth. This is you practicing healthy self love by saying, I love you. I love and accept everything about you. It doesn't mean there are things about you that you want, doesn't mean there are not things about you that you want to change. It simply says, I love you as you are. I'm going to love you as we become. And I give us permission to become even more because I love you so much. If you can't tell yourself you love yourself, then at least give yourself a high five. Thank you, Evan. Yes. Again, those baby steps. As the most hypercritical person on the planet, I could not look in the mirror and say, I love you. I was like, gosh, look at the way that you see your mouth. It's real. Oh, I didn't start with, I love you. I started with, I'm really proud of you for that thing that you did for someone else. And then we got a little better and a little better and a little better until I could finally say, I love you. I love you with all of your faults and all of your stupid mistakes and the things that you've said and done. And I'm proud of you. Start where you are, say what you can as long as it's loving, and keep moving forward from there. So you got to be your own best friend. You got to be your biggest supporter. When you are willing to be your biggest supporter, you will attract others who support you. When I was my own worst enemy, I attracted horrible situations. And my life felt like hell. It was just living hell. Now that I'm my best friend and my greatest advocate, it's shocking to me when someone is not nice to me. It's so shocking that I'm like kind of taken aback. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't, something's wrong. That person wasn't nice to me. They're having a bad day, whatever. But my life has changed so dramatically with adding in self love and acceptance and clearing out all of the baggage. Now, remember, this is not going to come overnight, presto changeo. Suddenly you love yourself and you're always going to love yourself. Take your time. It's not a race. Just do what you can every day. And if you do find that you're hypercritical, which even I am still critical of myself, instead of, oh, I can't believe what you said to yourself. Oh, you're such a jerk. You say to yourself, well, that was hurtful, but I'm so glad we caught it. It's really amazing how quickly we're able to see that behavior and correct it. I'm so sorry. Remember forgiving yourself. I'm so sorry I said that to you. That was very cruel. Move on. You don't keep fixating over it. You move on. Put your attention on something good that is happening in the world around you if you can't find something great going on inside. Use your environment to give you places to look where good things are happening. I had a wonderful thing happen today. I was out with Fred. We were walking. That's Fred the dog. And we met this cute, cute, cute little boy who was so excited that Fred would let him pet him. And so Fred is a male dog, so he was raising his leg to go to the bathroom and then pawing at the ground, with his hind feet after he was done. And the little boy sees Fred and starts going like this with his foot because he so wanted to be like Fred. It was so cute to see just this affection between the two of them, this joy. He was giggling and giggling and giggling, this unbridled joy. And just to remember how perfect the world is when we look with the eyes of a child. His world was perfect the entire time, and we spent a good amount of time with this little guy. His world was perfect. During that time, he was just so alive with his God essence. And because he's little, I forgot to ask how old he was, but because he's little, he will spend most of his life, his moments right now being the best version of himself, being really steeped in that God essence. So anytime you're having a really rough time, go out and find something pure, a child, a flower, an animal, and watch how they allow their God self to come forth and allow them to have a life that is amazing and filled with joy. So, before we finish, I want to tell you the two helpers that are going to be able to help you because, always in the energetic realm, if we can create a way to have trouble with it, they've already got a solution and a helper. So remember, it's impossible to outgood God. So there's no way that we could give more than God is able to give. And there's no way that we could face something that there isn't already a loving person or solution created for that. Love is the most important element in your life, and love is all that the divine are. Therefore, they have two helpers to help you really love yourself and to help you get past, especially those beginning steps when it seems like such an uphill battle. And they are Archangel Chamuel and Kuan Yin. Archangel Chamuel, you will often see pink light. His name is He Who Seeks God, and he has been described as pure love in a winged form. So if you are really engaging in self-deprecating behavior and you cannot figure out how to get off that hamster wheel of condemnation, call on Archangel Chamuel. Just say, "Oh, Archangel Chamuel, I'm really hurting and I'm having a very hard time separating myself from this hurt. Please come to my assistance. Lift me up. Help me break this pattern and stop this behavior." He's going to help you love yourself first. And the other helper, Kuan Yin, is red, and her name means one who hears the cries of the world. Remember, Kuan Yin got to the gates of heaven. She was in physical form, got to the gates of heaven because she reached enlightenment, heard the cries of the world and said, "No, I'm going to return. I'm going to stay in human form until every person has reached enlightenment." So she will help you experience a rebirth and renewal. So if you are having a hard time loving yourself in the way that you should, call on Archangel Samuel and Kuan Yin. Get that renewal that you need. Get that extra help, that burst of energy, so that it will be easier for you to really love yourself and honor yourself. And then from that place, you can love and honor others. Loving and honoring others comes naturally. Loving and honoring yourself might take a little work, but once you get the hang of it, it's really going to feel good. So just remember, if you're having a moment, grab Fred, go find a little kid, and you will experience bliss. This little guy was so full of joy, just little bouncing, imitating everything Fred did. We got to learn to be as little children, not childish, childlike, living where God already is. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks so much for your comments. You make this so much better. And as I said, I'm learning this new platform. So thanks for bearing with me as well. Lots of love, everyone.